Monday, NBA champ Jason Terry of the Milwaukee Bucks will be here live in studio. We'll break down all the NBA playoffs, including LeBron versus the Cavs versus the Celtics with him. That's Monday right here on Undisputed. Well, the Rockets got the win, but James Harden was awful last night. He missed all 11 of his three-point attempts, and he's now missed 20 straight threes in the series. And Harden may now need to carry the team after Chris Paul left last night's game late in the fourth quarter with a hamstring injury. Despite his struggles, Harden still seemed confident after last night's win. Take a listen.
Nothing. I'm just missing shots. But we're winning, and I'm trying to compete on the defensive end and do other things to, help my team win. But if we got a guy like Eric Gordon making shots, and being aggressive, who cares?
Shannon, can Harden win this thing if CP3 is truly out?
Absolutely not, because the margin is so slim for them to beat the Warriors, even with Chris Paul. And so now he's out. Skip, Chris Paul has been huge, especially games 4 and 5, down the stretch in the second half. Now, he scored double digits in every second half of this series. And in game 4, he made shot after shot after shot. In this series, he got the shimmying going. There's no way. Unless James Harden's going to go out of his mind. Because if you think about it, Skip, since game 1, in his last 4 games, he's shooting 37% from the field, 18% from 3. And as Jenny mentioned, he's missed his last 20.
Yeah.
20?
20.
So, Skip, first of all, they're only playing 7 guys. If you take one guy out now, you're going to be down to 6 because basically it's Gerald Green, Gerald Green and Eric Gordon. So that means one of those guys have to go into the starting lineup. Clearly, he doesn't feel comfortable playing. D'Antoni doesn't feel comfortable playing anybody else. That's why over the last couple of games we haven't seen anyone else get in this ball game. They're going 7 deep. You lose Chris Paul, now you make it 6. You see these guys: Ariza 42 minutes, Tucker 42 minutes, Harden's playing 37 minutes. Yeah, played almost 39 minutes. Eric Gordon's off the bench playing almost 37 minutes, Skip. No, they're not winning. They need Chris Paul to come back. I do not believe James Harden, and I believe Harden will win the MVP. But what I've seen from him in the series, and because the margin is already slim to start with, he's not winning these last 2 games without Chris Paul.
Are you surprised by what James Harden is not doing right now?
I'm shocked.
Seriously?
I am.
We've seen this a bunch of times.
Especially after the great first game that he got off to, Skip. I was like, okay, James going to be cooking.
Okay, but I keep telling you, playoff James is often way off James, and he is way, way off now. And I go back to Golden State's first run to its first ring, conference finals against James Harden's Rockets with no CP3, obviously. And what happened in the closeout game at Oracle? James Harden didn't happen because he had an NBA playoff record, 12 turnovers in that game. And then what happened last year against my Spurs in the closeout game at Houston, game 6? There's no Kawhi Leonard, there's no Tony Parker, and there was no James Harden because he just completely dried up and disappeared. And I have to question his postseason mental toughness, his playoff backbone. I'm just not sure about it because once he goes south, he just goes completely south. And the shock to me of this series is they are winning in spite of him. I don't know how they're doing it.
No, I don't believe it. Can you imagine another superstar playing as bad as he's playing?
No.
So let's just take Anthony Davis or LeBron or any other member of the All-NBA first team. Now, KD is a different animal because they still have Clay and Steph. But I can't imagine LeBron. I can't imagine Anthony Davis playing this bad and their team still winning a game against this team. Because it's not that they're winning games, Skip. It's who they're beating in winning these games.
And yet, when you least expect it, P.J. Tucker scores 22 in a game. And when I least expect it, Eric Gordon makes a huge 3 when he hasn't shot the ball very well from 3. And he made one with, 122 left. I think that's what you said. Yeah, and it was just a huge shot. It was the backbreaker in the end because they couldn't convert after that. And so, to me, Chris Paul, and remember, Chris has had his struggles in the postseason. I used to call him CP0 because he had 0 rings because he had gotten to 0 conference finals. And he is rising and shining in this conference finals, his first, because he's bringing mental and physical toughness that James doesn't always bring to this table. So just his, remember, Chris Paul was 0 for 7 in the first half last night, 0 for 7, and it was 45 all at halftime, and I couldn't even figure that out.
Right. And it should have been more than that because they had an 11-point lead in the second quarter.
Yeah, I tweeted at halftime. Houston just dominated Golden State 45-45. Well, that was it. I don't know how. And it just keeps going like that because defense is conquering all. James Harden is playing defense. Eddie House just said that, but he is. Chris Paul's really playing hellacious hard defense.
Yes.
All of them are playing defense, and Golden State can't score in the half court. They get most of their stuff on the fly. And so all of a sudden, I'm looking at a team that can overcome James Harden just being pathetic. That was a pathetic game by him. 5 for 21 and 0 for 11.
But Chris Paul had 18 second half points.
He did.
4 or 6 from the 3-point line.
And he made 2 impossible shots at the shot clock that just tear your heart out.
They hurt. They hurt because they've guarded as long as they possibly can. And the guy heaves one up from the top of the key. He heaves another one up, and it splashes. And then you just turn and look to your bench like, Coach, I don't really know what else I do. I can't play it any better than that. And the guy just throws the ball up, and somehow, miraculously, it goes in.
Yeah. So Eddie did also mention this, but I'm going to say it again. James Harden did make the signature turning point message sent play of these conference finals. He dunked right in Draymond's face. And Draymond thought he could get a hand on the ball, and he whiffed. And he got posterized by James Harden. And I didn't think James had that in him. But that's really the only play that I've seen.
I don't think anybody thought that.
Right?
No. I mean, Trevor Ariza, Skip, he hadn't played well at all. Now, he's had that one good game 2. He's played, I mean, I guess when you expend so much energy trying to guard Kevin Durant or you're trying to chase Steph Curry and Klay Thompson off the 3-point line, I guess that zaps some of your offense. But, I mean, he was 1 for 6, 1 for 4. But Chris Paul, I don't see how, Skip. I really don't. I don't see how they win a game when the margin is like this against that team.
So, you know hamstrings. I unfortunately know hamstrings.
Yeah.
And this guy has had nothing but trouble with his hamstrings. And yet, against my San Antonio Spurs at Staples Center a few years back, do you remember Game 7 of the first round when my Spurs lost on the last regular season night at New Orleans to plummet from 2 to 6 in the standings?
Yep.
And they wound up having to play Game 7 at Clippers. And Chris Paul pulled his hamstring and went to the locker room. You know and I know. When you pull it, you know this, Jenny.
You feel it.
You're done. You are shut
you
down.
Hear it.
I don't care. You can't run through it. You can't tough it out.
That thing, every time you try to make a move, it grabs.
Yeah, you can't grin and bear it. There's certain injuries you can just say, I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to get through this. I'm going to play on this. But you can't play on this.
Right.
And what did Chris Paul do? He comes back from the locker room, comes back in the game, and makes the shot of shots over Tim Duncan. Do you remember this?
A circus double pump off the glass.
Off the glass. He made the shot that Steph tried to make last night. And Steph shot it too hard, and it didn't have much touch on it, and it just bound out, right?
Yeah.
Your guy did it. He did
at 6'9", running about 22 miles an hour. They say, when a cheetah's picking up speed, they get up miles to 70.
And you know what happened? He was past the backboard, was LeBron James, and so he kind of leans back and he's trying to shoot it straight in.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
And it accidentally kissed the backboard and went in, and he's like, I did it.
The Pythagorean theorem. So if he runs at this speed, at this angle, shoots the ball at this trajectory, this what would happen.
But you realize you're running out of backboard. You're running so fast to the baseline that the backboard is shrinking.
It could have been a matchbox.
Really?
He kissed it off that.
Kissed it off that. So he just aimed at the last second to
Square.
barely.
Look at the square.
It's almost like 8-ball in the side pocket where you have to just nick it and just right.
If you think about it, he let it go before he gets out of bounds. His momentum takes him about 7 rows up in the stands.
I do not believe he called glass. That's just me.
And he has played through some stuff, but this is just coming out now that ESPN is reporting from a Rockets source that Chris Paul is not feeling good. So he is not in a good place. Supposedly, that is what we're hearing right now.
I mean, Chris Paul's like, man, I got buzzard luck. I mean, I'm 1 game away. And even if we don't win Game 6, I get to come home for Game 6.
But Game 7 is 3 days away. So what is that? I mean, 3 days, you can't heal up in 3 days.
I'm like,
not that.
I ain't even attempting to go Game 6, Skip. I'm going to try to get it, do everything I possibly can. As a matter of fact, I'm not even traveling to Golden State. I'm not getting on a plane. I'm with the little guys. Stay here. I'm going to try to get a treatment 24/7.
You realize this is bad news for your guy LeBron, because he'd have a much better shot against the Rockets than the Golden State Warriors. But now you're looking at Cleveland, Golden State.
We're not
4.
worried about The Golden State.
whoever, you don't even care.
We're going to deal with these C's tonight,
Yeah.
deal with them again on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about that on Monday.
Take an IV on Monday and be back in business.
Well, speaking of Chris Paul, we all hope that he's going to be okay, but he was also
Yeah.
doing something else last night, and that is shimmying. Yes, shimmying in Steph Curry's face. Should he have been doing that? We're going to talk about it next.